Now, how about them damn Celtics?
We are back. Another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording Tuesday, January 21st, talking about the Warriors. Obviously, Celtics just beat the Warriors 125-85, 40-point victory, back on track in the win column. But before and after the game, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry both talked about sort of some of the difficulties of repeating, some of the struggles that the Celtics are going through. Basically, like, is it normal? What's it like trying to win a championship again? And spoiler alert, what they're saying is what the Celtics have been saying all year. Like, shit happens. And if there's anybody who knows what it takes to or what it feels like after winning a title trying to do it again, I would say those are two pretty good guys to look at for you know, insight.
It's a little different when it comes from an external source. When the guys that are on trial are like we're innocent, it's a little more difficult to believe. Uh, but with that being said, Jack's right. Very good company for this to come from. These are two people that have been through tons and tons of deep playoff basketball. They have won 4 championships together. They understand what it takes to be at the top. And as much as Celtics fans might hate Steve Kerr, he had some pretty encouraging things to say yesterday before tip off. And, with everything the Celtics have gone through lately, even if you count in yesterday's win, they still haven't been the team that everyone expected them to be over the last 2 months now. So,
Mm.
yeah, I it's nice to hear that the perspective is that there should be light at the end of the tunnel and the team should be able to get back on track. And, I'm hesitant to buy, not to buy that they will get out of it, just to buy that they have gotten past it uh, at this point.
Yeah, we can take a look. This is what Steve Kerr had to say before the game. Bobby Manning was asked, you know, where the Celtics are at. What do you think? Like, basically because the fan base is freaking out. That's what Steve Kerr said.
Now coming back, going through that first regular season after going through that a couple times. What were some of the challenges of all right, you have that great run, you win it, and then you got to go through that next regular season? Like, what kind of stood out about those experiences for you?
I think just having to, we always say at the beginning of the season we're climbing Everest. It's when you start training camp. It's like you're at base camp, and the NBA season is such a long haul. And if you go to the finals, it's over 100 games. And so if you go to the finals and come back the next year, you're right back at base camp, and that's intimidating. And especially for the Celtics, they've been at it for 7, 8 years, playing deep into the postseason. And it's not like this was a brand new team last year winning it all. They've had to fight through a lot of difficult seasons. So perfectly natural for them to have a little bit of an emotional hangover and maybe not be at their best game after game. I've seen that a million times in this league. So, but what I would expect is come playoff time, they'll be ready to roll. They're still
You hear it too, right?
times.
Yeah, Noah's got to hold her phone better.
Well
This is
routine
amateur
approach.
hour.
Is she just tapping the case like she's listening to a song in her head?
I think she's typing. Like, I think
Oh,
she's
that's what it is.
texting.
Yes, it is. That is what it is.
And we can listen to Steph too. And this is Noah's question, so she's probably not texting during this one. But she asked Curry about the process of defending a title.
What do you think people on the outside that aren't NBA players, aren't NBA in the locker room, are missing about what it takes to defend a title and just go through an 82 game season fresh off of just winning one?
It's a marathon of a season, especially you do have a championship kind of aura about you, and you can kind of carry.
Oh no!
You're getting everybody's best shot every night. Teams are spent all summer trying to figure out how to beat you because you're the one that was holding up the trophy, and now you're kind of held to a championship standard, knowing that you've accomplished it. So there are going to be lows throughout the season. It kind of happens, but you try to get to the playoffs with a good identity, good momentum, good confidence, good health, and then you just roll the dice, trying to run it back. So I don't know if people expected a 30 or 13 and doing all right.
Just mocks the people panicking at the end, which I thought was entertaining.
Clearly hasn't been watching.
I get it, man, but like, I wholly understand it's our job to cover this game, and when they're bad, we say they're bad. But the perspective of this literally happens every single season, anytime any team ever wins a championship.
No,
like,
it does.
Jesus Christ, like,
And
holy shit.
Jake, I had never seen this before. I guess they look at this all the time on First the Floor. He had this tweet that was like several different championship repeater teams. It was like the 2000 Lakers, 2001 Lakers, 13 Heat, one of the Warriors teams, and I think there was one more in there that might have repeated. And it was like worst stretches through the 82 games, and it was like those Shaq Lakers teams. It was like 7-7, 7-7. LeBron Heat went 6-8. The KD Warriors went 6-8. Like, it does happen, and you forget about those things obviously because of whatever happens at the end of all of it. But when you're a team with those sort of expectations, and then you're falling flat against a Toronto or Atlanta when you really could use the win in that spot, because they've struggled, and they've struggled against like understandable teams. Like, as much as Philly is Philly right now, they were healthy when they played on Christmas. Like, they got a pretty good shot from Philly, and it was a frustrating way to lose, and they really could have won, but it was still like a competitive team. It's not like it wasn't the same as losing to Toronto. The point remains, it's easy to forget all of this if everything goes well and ends well, because we won't be talking about it. But in the moment, it's very scary looking.
I get it. I said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't really care who they win or who they lose to. Like, throughout the course of an 82 regular game season, like it's obviously nice and cool to see them play these, top Western Conference teams, or the Cavs, or the Knicks, the Bucks, or stuff like that. But like, a loss to the Raptors, like, doesn't like scare me more or hurt me more than a loss to the Thunder. Like, it sucks, and we talk about it in that way because it is a worse loss, but I don't like care anymore that they lost to the Raptors than they lost to the Thunder. Like, a loss is a loss. Joe said that. I agree with that. Like, you shouldn't be losing. Like, they're supposed to be the best team in basketball. They should beat everybody. Now, is it worse that
We're
they lost to the
aligned.
Raptors? Yes. Right. Is it worse that they lost to the Raptors? Sure. But does that like scare me of an imminent threat more? No, I would argue that it should scare you more if they lose to the Thunder, because that's a team
I
that's
agree with
probably
that
going to
part.
matter.
It should
in
piss
X
you
amount of
off
weeks.
more if they lose the easy game.
But
though. Not that it really matters.
I think getting pissed off at individual losses during an 82 game regular season when they are 30-13, like I don't. Like, I just don't. Right. And there are some ones that hurt more, that are like, not hurt more, but like are confusing more, where you're like, how the hell did that happen? But it's not frustration. Like, it's hard for me to get mad at them when they are the second best team in the East, the third best team in basketball, going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. Like, shit, there's days where I don't write anything where I should, right? There's days where I write a dog shit piece, or there's 7 typos in my article. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, as much as it is basketball and they're supposed to be the best at all times, like, shit happens, bro. Like, and so I'm not going to be here stepping on their necks. And you hear Steph Curry, who's won 4 championships, Steve Kerr, who's won 7 championships throughout the course of his playing and coaching career, talk about how hard it is to keep up the energy after getting to the mountaintop. What do you call it? Everest. And then you're just going, kicked right down to base camp again. Like, that sucks. Imagine running 26 miles of a marathon and saying, sorry, start over, do it again. Like, that shit must suck. And it's probably not easy. It's probably a lot harder to do it the second time. That's what you're seeing.
So, I think it's okay to like get pissed off when they're not playing well, because it's just
Fine.
not the standard.
Sure.
I think that's just where it ends, though. Like, if you said, Sam, do you think the Celtics are going to be able to compete for a championship? I'd still tell you yes.
Exactly.
I'm mad at them right now. Doesn't mean I don't love them.
That's fine. People can be mad. People can feel how they want. I just think, like, me personally, I'll analyze what's happening. I'll see what's happening, but like, I don't really care. We're in January. Obviously, you don't want them to go 500 for the rest of the season. So if we inch closer towards that, then I'll start to be concerned. But we're talking about a 15-game stretch where they've had really, really good games and then a few bad games, and they're aggregate 500, but are still 30-13. Like, if they were 500 right now in the season, then I'd be like, okay, what the fuck? But the fact that we know what they can do, Now they're going through a rough patch. Like if this rough patch was the start of the season, then there would be significantly more concern on my end. But the fact that we've seen what they can do, we've seen what they can be this season already. It's just that they're in a rough patch now. I'm not going to complain or panic. And I get the people that are like, I understand it's frustrating when a team has such high standards, has such high expectations, and they underperform. Like it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be people that are upset, and that makes sense. But the people that saying like fire Missoula, do this, do that, like
yeah, I'm not in that
like,
camp.
I know. Just a bit much, but that's what Kerr and Curry had to say. I think it makes a little bit of sense. I think, like I said, it would be hard to find better perspective on what it means to defend
That's
a
why people
championship
come
and
to
to
this
try to
show.
win. So
For the best perspective.
appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, and I'll say take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of what the Warriors had to say. You can hit the bell because Jack and I are here every single day. New pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between. To keep you up to date with all things Celtics, we're also streaming pregame a half hour before every single game. So come out, hang out. It's a ton of fun. We'll be here at 9:30 p.m. tonight for the 10 p.m. tip at Intuit Dome against the Clippers and the Wall. Be a ton of fun. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you give us a follow, they'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. It is very helpful for us. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.